Today, we will talk about the topic of free time. At first, this started as a conversation with myself in the car about traffic lights as opposed to stop signs. And it slowly morphed into a deep conversation about wasting my life away doing things I didn't like, thinking I had to do them to earn time to do the things I wanted to do. So when we think about traffic lights and stop signs, at first we think of something red, something there to stop us from get where we're going. There's a 3-way stop sign right next to my house. 3 ways, if you go any of the ways, you have to stop. You can't keep going there, you're gonna hit somebody, or you might just keep going straight into the river. So you stop. You stop because it's safety. But then you also think, stop signs do the same exact thing as traffic lights. They tell us when to stop, they tell us when to go, just in a different manner. But in most residential areas, you'll only see stop signs and not traffic lights. But on main roads, you see traffic lights, and the only reason I thought to myself about this was that I need to go to class. I leave the house early to get to class on time because I can't go straight there. Traffic lights and stop signs are there to keep me safe, but yet I have these time constraints to get to places. I guess you can stop and skip the stop signs. That's unsafe. That's clearly unsafe. But yet, you still do it because you want to get there faster. You want to cut that little sliver of time where you would stop your brakes. You might want to save the gas and use the momentum to keep going. I know a lot of people that roll past stop signs. It kind of really terrifies me too when people will come to a stop sign and roll past it. But sometimes you also have to roll past a stop sign so you can see what's coming down the street. But you're supposed to stop first and then roll. I know a lot of people do it with traffic lights as well. They'll roll onto the crosswalk and get in people's way. Then you see those funny meme videos where people will just try to open the car door and go through the car door because it's over the crosswalk and it's illegal to go around the crosswalk. That's jaywalking. So we stop for safety. We stop because it's a time constraint. So we leave early so we can get places faster. And that really hits me. There's a lot of things in life that I want to do, but yet I have time constraints on it. It's how my simple conversation with myself in the car on my 20-minute drive to class turned from a conversation about complaining about stop signs and stoplights and how people don't stop and just want to hit me and I kind of want to be hit, but do I really? To a deep conversation about, am I really spending my free time or giving myself the time to do things I want to do properly? Because to me, it's not. I think I traced it back all the way to playtime as a kid. You get homework, school age, learning your place in the world. That's all I wrote down I could remember. So I remember when I was a kid, after school, if it was an early release day, my mom would let us play outside until the time school would have stopped. So it'd be like an hour and a half we'd get to play outside with our neighbors, or if anyone wanted to come over, not really, I didn't have any friends, but still, I would get to go and play outside. It was what I'd looked forward to. It was a short day of school. I'd come home. I didn't have to go straight to go into work and get all my chores done or get all my homework done. I had a little bit more time in the day to do something I wanted to do because it was set out for me by my parents. It's that school age we had. You grow up, you know that you have to do is to go to school, make sure you eat what you're given, or ask for food if you're not getting food. To make sure you're taken care of, basically listening to your parents, doing your chores, doing your homework, trying to get some sleep at night, going around, having fun. You're a kid. That's how they see it. That's how we all see it. You're a kid, you're going to go out and have fun. But then you also realize that you can't go outside and have fun unless it's a special day or you have all your work done. I would get home early, we would go straight outside because we knew that was the rule. We were allowed to go out and play until 2:30 p.m. when school would have usually ended. And then we come back inside, do our homework, get all our stuff done. If it was dinner time and it was too late to go outside, we would eat dinner. We might get to watch some TV or whatever. Or we could go back outside and play because we had our work done. And as a kid, you don't see the world as something full of opportunities. You might see it as something full of unknown opportunities, but I don't believe as a kid you really see the world as full of opportunities as it would be. You know that if you get something done, you get to earn your free time. I knew a lot of kids had TV time growing up. You would earn that TV time, or you would get like an hour, or you'd get to stay up late and watch a show with your parents or something. That was something you earned. You were given these privileges, and they could be taken away if you did something bad. Personally, in my family, we never got paid to do our chores. We were told that if you lived in this house, you're going to get that job done. When we say you're going to get that job done. And I never really saw it as, oh, I should get paid for anything until I started working. When I first started working my first part-time job, I was getting paid under minimum wage in my state. About $7 $7.25 went up to $7.50 because the job mandated that everyone get paid $7.50 instead of $7.25 because the government was getting on their case or something. I got paid plus tips. That's because where I lived, well, now it's changed, but where I lived and had the job, you could get paid underneath minimum wage if you're getting tips. And now I got off track a little bit, but let's go back to school age and homework. So, as I said before, you earn the time to get to do the things you want, while you're also learning your place in the world. I remember as 3rd grade, I figured out what I wanted to do with my life. I was told everyone, they always thought, oh my god, you have it figured out. That's so cool. I want you to talk to my kid. I want to talk to you. I want to know why you see this. I don't know if they ever really took me seriously, but I guess they must have because that's what I majored in college. But I remember being told when I had to choose something, I remember thinking, I wanted to be everything and never want to choose one career. That's something that's been in the back of my mind growing up my whole life. I really enjoy writing. I really enjoy making videos. I really enjoy editing things. I really enjoy going outside. But yet, I never set aside time for myself to do it. But then why do I have to set aside time for myself to be able to do something that I enjoy? I'm an adult now. Online school is kicking my butt. I'm trying my best to keep my grades up, to do all the things I need to do. I have a part-time job so that I can go earn some money. But I'm not spending that money right now. I'm not like my brother spending money right away. I'm saving for it. I'm saving for the future so I can go do things. But yet people tell me, if you have all that money, why don't you do anything? If you have all that time, why don't you do anything? It's because now I have the freedom to choose, but it doesn't seem like I have the freedom to choose to do what I want in my free time. Because growing up, I was taught I had to earn that, or I had to be happy. I think I said it best earlier today to my friend when I said, I don't think I deserve to write when I want to write. And maybe that's why my writer's block comes down so hard on me. I want to bring it to this one quote that I really loved throughout my whole life, and I've never forgotten it. I might have some words off completely wrong, but it's a quote from Walt Disney. You see it probably in your school classrooms if you ever went to public school, or just like scrolling through Pinterest on like inspirational boards or anything. But if you enjoy what you do every second of your life for your job, then you never work a day in your life. That's along the lines of a quote from Walt Disney. I always thought that I never wanted to sit around and do one thing. If I sat around and did one thing my whole life, I'm going to be so bored I might as well just die. And I know that's kind of extreme, but when you're a suicidal teenager and you're growing up in this world where you believe and are told every single day that you have to choose what you want to do right this second, because that's how the world works. If you want to become president or something like that, that's a really bad analogy because it doesn't really work like that anymore. But if you want this high-end job, if you want to be a CEO of a company, you need to work towards the company. You need to work towards the skills in that company. But if you're not into that, you don't have... let me choose. Let me actually choose an example. I'll use myself as an example. In 3rd grade, I told myself I want to be a homicide detective. I really told myself that because I really liked this anime TV show and called Case Closed or Detective Conan. And I loved the American adaptation. I didn't know anything about Japan. All I knew was that this was on TV. My mom let me watch it for some reason as an 8-year-old, this murder mystery show, because I watched live action murder mystery shows like NCIS and very gory TV shows with her, like, what was it? Untold Stories of the ER. She wanted me to become a doctor, so she always told me to watch these TV shows with her. But I fell in love with anime instead. And I thought to myself, if my life could be like this character's life, I'm not going to get turned into a child and solve mysteries, but if my life could be as interesting in this is what I want to choose. And there I went. 8-year-old little me, 20 years old now, senior in college, major being criminology and criminal justice. I think to myself, every time my professor brings it up, is this what I want to do? Is this what I want to do? And if people ask you that enough, you start to doubt yourself and think maybe this is not what I want to do, because you're making it sound very difficult. And I'm lazy. But if I sit around and I work towards a goal of becoming a homicide detective in the first place, why do I need to go get a degree? When it's where it works as you have to become a homicide detective, you have to climb up the ranks. You have to start as a police officer, you have to climb up the ranks. That takes years, and that's why they tell you need to figure something out at an early age so you can climb up the ranks and become what you think you want to be. What you think, because that's what the world has shown you. They haven't shown you the real thing. They don't tell you about all the paperwork, all the boring things you'd have to do if you want to be a homicide detective. They warn you and they tell you about all the field work, but they never tell you what really happens. They make you think you know how life works. They make you think that you're finding the right way, that you're going the right way to find your place in the world, that the choice is yours. As my high school teacher always said, principal always said every single morning, the choice is yours. They make you think that the choice is yours, but then they take that choice away by making you believe you're not good enough to do what you want to do. I get writer's block a lot. I have a whole story planned out in my head, multiple stories, multiple fantasies that I just daydream about, multiple worlds and settings that I come up in my head, and I tell myself. But when I put it onto paper, why can't I put this whole story I have figured out in my head onto paper? Why can't I sit down and finish writing that movie script that I wanted to write for my mother? Why can't I write a poem when it's time for me to write a poem for my class? Why? Have you ever heard the term, time flies by fast when you're having fun? I've realized that's really true. Time does fly by fast when you're having fun. My whole life, I struggled with a lot of ups and downs and sadness for no reason. At least I told myself it had no reason. And then I would always set a goal to work towards or something that was set in stone. I remember when I was 10, I decided for my 16th birthday, I wanted to go on a cruise. For my 16th birthday. I was 10 years old. I decided that. And when it came around to my 16th birthday, people started to ask me, do you want to have a party? Do you want to do something really fun? And I was like, I don't have enough friends to have a party. I don't really like parties. I want to go someplace. I want to go see all these places that I've only seen in pictures. So I finally set it in stone. I looked at a lot of cruises I wanted to go on, and I told my dad I was choosing one. And I chose one, and we figured it out, and we were going. I think it was the whole year I looked forward to it. I forced myself to lose weight, but on a diet, in a nice way. That's probably the only time in my whole life I ever lost weight properly. And I looked forward to it, and time went by so fast. But that cruise weekend, I think it was a 7-day cruise, I don't know why we picked it so long, but it was so fun. It felt like it lasted the whole year. At least it fills up most of my memories than that whole year of me being 15. So time really does fly by fast when you're having fun. So if you have fun every day in your whole life, and you don't stop and think about all the stuff you have to do, and all the stuff you think you have to earn and suffer through to earn the free time in your life, maybe you'll actually be happy for once. I don't know, I got kind of sad in this part. But if you always see the world as something that's against you, and that you have to go to these places that torture you, and that you don't have a choice to get to do what you want, to get to do the things that you like to do, you're never going to truly live. I really love to look at pictures of places I've never been to. I really want to travel the world one day and see all these wonderful places and then talk about it and tell people about it, take pictures, write about it, use it as inspiration for things that I've always wanted to do, like write movies, write books, write poetry, edit videos, do all the stuff that is content creating for me personally, and just live a life full of fulfillment. But yet, every day, I keep asking myself why. Why do I have writer's block when my whole story is planned out in my head? Why do I ignore cleaning when I like stuff being clean? Why do everyday normal things seem like dreadful chores when they're good for me? Why? I try to write aspirations for myself, places that I'll see them and never forget them. But yet I still forget them because I write them on tiny sticky notes and stick them to the wall, thinking that I'm going to look at them every single day. I mean, I remember that they're there, but do I remember what they say? Probably not. But back to the topic that I probably got off on a lot of different places. My concept of free time. My concept of free time is so screwed up in a world that has taught me I have to be tortured, metaphorically, and not enjoy things so I can go do the things I enjoy. Because I have to earn my privileges. They're not given to me. Just like human rights aren't given to some people in many places. Or the human rights that I might have, a lot of people seem to believe that they should be taken away from me. But that would be another conversation. So I guess, when you have free time, try to sit around and do the things you want to do. And don't waste your life away, like we've probably already been doing.